Welcome to Bosch Professional Live UK. I'm Chris.
And I'm Danny.
And I'm Dharma. And remember that this is a live stream. So any questions you have, put it in the chat and I'll read them out for Chris and Dan to answer.
In fact, this is more than just a normal live stream. In fact, this is specifically a question and answers live stream. So I'm sure that you're going to give Dharma lots of work to do. We've collected a number of questions throughout the last couple of weeks. And we've got plenty here already, so I'm sure we're going to have quite a full and action-packed live stream.
I think so.
Yeah, as you know, something slightly different. We've done away with the desk here. We thought we'll try something different for this new type of Q&A live stream.
Yep, we get to sit down for a start, which is always a good
nice.
thing.
That isn't in anticipation that we're going to be doing hours.
No.
We've all got things that we need to do in our real lives outside of Bosch, but we'll probably do at least, I don't know, Danny, maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
We'll see how it goes.
I mean, you've got more than enough questions already to do a couple of hours, but let's see how we do.
Yep.
Okay, so where should we start? Well, who have we got maybe in the chat? Any regular viewers maybe?
There's definitely a few of them. There's PF Cutters, Dave's Workbench, Fiona, and many more.
Oh, good, right, okay. I can already see from the chat there that we've already got plenty of questions already.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll do some of the questions that we've got from some of our requests on social media, and then we'll see and answer some of the questions out there in the chat. If there are any other questions in regards to the questions we're reading out, feel free again. Look, this is totally interactive. Ask questions about any of the answers we've given. And in fact, as we've got a nice little community around us, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Maybe answer some of the questions between you.
We can always circle back and see if there's any more information that we can lend.
Okay, and obviously let us know if this kind of format of live stream is interesting, because if it works and if you guys agree with us, maybe we'll do this a little bit more regular.
Yeah, not as a replacement to the standard live streams, because to be fair, we love doing them anyway. Just as a different concept. We'll see how it goes.
That's right. Okay, right. So first up, one of the first questions I've got here from Alistair Brown is, do we have any updates on any new tools within the 12-volt range? Now, that's an important question, because we've always maintained that the 12-volt range is important to us.
Hugely important, in fact.
Exactly. And whereas many other manufacturers might have not abandoned, but maybe they've moved away from their 12-volt range. Maybe they're focusing everything into, say, their 18-volt range.
Yep, it's all to do with the larger numbers. People are obviously going for more higher performance machines, but sometimes, as we've discussed on many live streams before, big numbers or high performance isn't necessarily what you need. So there'll always be situations out there where a smaller machine, something less powerful for doing more precise jobs, is more than you need for the task.
Right. So, I mean, we always want to try and give you some hints on tools coming out, and we have been maintaining the fact that, yes, absolutely 100%, we are not doing away with 12 volt, but the fair criticism from our fans out there is, well, where are they? There have been a few coming out recently, which is nice to see. But, or more importantly, we know that there are quite a few numbers coming out next year.
2025 is going to be a good one for 12 volt. There's some really good products coming.
That's right, and really, it's not just one or two. In fact, I think we're safe to say, amongst the many 12 volt tools we're bringing out next year, is that we're going to have a new segment as well.
Oh yes, whole new segment. Yep. And that obviously means that's going to hit the ground running. So there's going to be a fair few machines in that segment, just to mention a few. Yeah.
I can think. Do you know what? I can think of loads right now. Yeah. Even outside of that segment, there's some more measuring tools. In fact.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Obviously, the measuring tools are using the Pro batteries. So yeah, there's going to be more measuring tools as well.
Cool. Okay. Alistair, hopefully maybe you're even watching the live stream. Let us know if that's probably not that satisfying, but hopefully it reassures you that for the 12 volt range we have not abandoned it, not at all. If anything, we're just being true to Bosch and being extra German and taking our time in developing these products, making sure they're absolutely 100% perfect when they come out to market.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, next question we've got from, well, it's just Eric, and he's asking, rechargeable batteries for line lasers, question mark. Right, so I've actually got...
You've actually got them down there, I think, haven't you?
Right,
You've preempted this one.
Well, I've got two battery packs here.
So you've got the two different battery packs here. One's for the smaller machines and one's for the slightly larger machines. So you're looking for... This one here is for your line measures, your GLM range. So your range finders, basically. And the other one that you've got in your hand there is for the larger, the two-line combi lasers, that sort of thing.
That's right. So they have two similar names. We have the BA 3.7. Oh, sorry. The BA 3.7. This is the 1 amp version, Okay, as Dan pointed out, that's for the smaller devices,
yes,
rangefinders. And then this is a relatively new one. Okay, and we call this again BA 3.7, but this is a 3 amp hour cell.
Yeah.
So this is a slightly more powerful one for those cross-line lasers. Let me reach over and grab an example.
Well, it's not just the line lasers for this as well. So I believe there's a detector coming as well.
There are quite a few products
as well.
Right, so if we cut to a wider camera for a second, I'll show you. This is one of the lasers we're talking about, and as you can see, the bigger of the two, so the BA, the XL, we sometimes call this the XL battery pack. That one essentially just replaces the cage system. So this is for your normal AA batteries, so 4 times AA, or you can have this single BA 3.7 3 amp hour XL pack that runs on that lithium-ion pack, or if I open the back here, so the very close-up camera, you see you've got the USB charging port on the back. Oh, sorry, I'll put it to that side there. USB-C charging port. Yep. So that will allow you to charge the cells, which is great. But actually, for this particular battery cell, in these laser crossline lasers, you can actually run it off off the mains power supply or off a larger power bank.
That's a massive improvement over because the green line lasers are quite well known for going to AA batteries fairly quickly. They're a high output laser. That's if you're not using the eco mode, because the eco mode does give you longer runtime on that. But being able to have a lithium ion pack on its own is a massive benefit. It's going to cut you a lot of cost when it comes to batteries. Be able to run it mains as well, and charge the cell in there should you need to take it off the mains. Is how many more different power supplies do you need?
That's right, yeah. And just to refer to the smaller of the two, okay, so Danny obviously pointed out the fact that it will work, it's almost like a retrofit kit. We also sell it as part of a kit for the GLMs. And you can see, you just take out the AA batteries and that replaces it and sits in there. So you've got your nice little lithium ion pack, a nice little upgrade, or you can buy it as a complete set. The battery pack itself also, again, you're seeing how the system's working here. You can also do exactly the same thing on the new Generation 2 GLM 120-27. Okay, it's exactly the same process. So this is all part of, I use the word sustainability, but it is really important to make sure that we're trying to minimise the amount of wastage, batteries going into landfills and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Right, so we obviously had quite a number of measuring tools running on those AAs and AAA batteries. But the reality is, lithium-ion is so much more convenient.
Really is, yeah.
USB-C charging, honestly, you could quite happily just pop that on charge in your cigarette lighter, if you still have them anymore, your car charger, charge up just a little bit of juice, and that's going to give you more than enough runtime for probably the entire day.
Yeah.
And now you've got that expanding to not only GLMs, line lasers, detectors, but you'll see in the coming future that will be the standard moving out to a lot more products.
Yeah, it's going to save an awful lot of AA batteries, as you said, going into landfill. And it's a sustainability reason alone. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and if you're not bothered about sustainability, which you should be, think about it this way: it's going to save you a lot of money.
Save you a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Looks like Dava's got some questions already.
Yeah, there's actually a question about the line laser batteries. So, do they work with all the line lasers, which otherwise take AAs? The new 18-volt line laser is very expensive.
Not all.
No, not the 18 one, unfortunately, because that's actually that requires either an 18-volt battery. It comes with a 12 amp hour, 12-volt battery adapter and a AA. Sorry. C-cell adapter that goes with it. They're higher output cells.
Yeah, too powerful for AAs to run, yeah.
Remember, this is 3.7 volts on this, so this is designed for the lower output machines rather than anything other than that. They're both 3.7 volts.
That's right, yeah. It's because, without getting too complicated, there's more cells in the XL that allow you to run the more powerful machines like the crossline lasers. But the 18-volt, that's designed for more, as you said.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed with the runtime if it would run on that. So, yeah.
There's also been some love for the mug on the desk, and people are asking where you can buy it.
Ah, right. This is actually a Bosch sort of events mug that we tend to give away. You're not.
No, you can't have my
the
one.
Ugly mug one. No, this is an events mug that we usually give away when we go to events, and we also give the stickers away as well. So it's literally just a mug with a sticker on it. So it's not available. Clearly, you can purchase. You need to attend an event and come and meet us.
If you spin it around for a second, that's the normal mug. So look, it is doable. But if you want live stream merch mugs, let us know.
Yeah.
Give me that ammunition to put it forward. So next time we're at our next event, then maybe we could be dishing out a few limited edition live stream promo mugs.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Can I have my mug back now?
Okay, so Dharma, any more questions in the chat, or should we go on to some of the online questions we had earlier?
Just one more question. PF Cutters is asking if this is the new workshop that we're streaming from.
That's one of the questions I think we had here, but let's answer it now.
Yes.
No, this is still the same studio. We're still in the original site. We don't make the official move until later next year.
Yes, reportedly early, but next year. Yeah. We'll just say next year. Yeah.
Maybe if we can get this in there sooner, we will, because it is going to be a much bigger studio, and also we're going to have a lot more space. We are designing the new training centre and studio around things like the live stream, which means we'll be able to do what you've all been asking us to do, which is more hands-on demonstrations on a live. Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to the move. You think moving house is bad? Our workshop is absolutely chocker with machines that need to be transported as well. So although it's only next door, it's going to be a huge undertaking, I think.
If you think moving house is stressful, imagine moving every single power tool that Bosch manufacture, every accessory, all the gubbins. It's we're not looking forward to, let's say that. Okay, so moving on to some more questions that we got via our social channels. Guess what? It wouldn't be a Bosch Professional live stream unless someone was asking about workwear. So Ollie's asked about it. Only Ollie. I'm sure someone else is going to ask about it as well, this chat. Guess what? Hopefully one day. We're still putting lots of pressure, but if we're being honest, there's a priority for a number of other machines. So we'll get to them as soon as we can, but hey, the pressure's there. There's a few little bits of workwear I like. I'd like to get some gloves back.
Yes,
I really like our PPE range that we used to have. I actually really miss not having the masks and the ear defenders.
Yes.
We've still got quite a few safety glasses in our storeroom that they're not available to sell.
The gloves were really nice, but they were white. Probably not the best colour for safety gloves.
Oh, we had luminous green ones.
Yes, we had luminous green as well.
So all kinds of different kinds of workwear or PPE. But I think what you really want is, you want your trousers and stuff. And I totally agree. Fingers crossed one day. Not in the near future, though, I'm afraid. But keep asking. Next question. Hello, Radine. Nice to see you. Nice to see you in person. Nice to see you in person as well, I believe.
Yes.
Why is the new pressure washers, or why are the new pressure washers not equipped with the industry standard quick connections like the previous GHP range, but instead have connections from the DIY range? Now, this question confuses Danny a little bit.
Yeah, it does. The previous GHP range had the screw type connectors on a 1/2-inch BSP thread fitting. Actually, really quite a good connection system. It was literally push fit, screw the union up, and away you go. So not sure when it comes to the older GHP. We've carried on that fitting through to the new ones as well, so it's exactly the same.
So we're basically saying that it hasn't changed.
The DIY ones, the green power tool ones, they do have a quick connect fitting. But that wouldn't be robust enough for a professional pressure washer.
That's right.
You can get the quick connectors online, and they are the correct thread to use with our pressure washers. So as a retrofit of something that you could pick up online, then it makes perfect sense. But as the machines are supplied at the moment, they don't have the quick connectors on them.
So we could interpret your question by saying, well, forget the whole, did the previous ones have them or have not? We know they don't currently, and we believe they didn't have originally. So the question really is, will we, or why don't we have some of those quick connectors? At the moment, I think you could argue, well, maybe it's a price point thing. You let us know. I've seen some competitors that have these quick lock systems, and their hoses are quite expensive. I don't know if it's directly because of those fittings. I'm not sure, to be honest. At the moment, we see our pressure washers not needing them yet. And if it becomes a factor that you guys are willing to pay more for that kind of functionality, perhaps we'll do it, or whether or not that becomes, say, industry standard, but more pressure on us to make sure that we've got a range of a different price point that have that. We'll see. So it's not off the table yet, but currently we're not doing it yet.
Not yet, no.
Radine's actually in the chat right now.
Oh, hello.
He said he's happy he could see you guys in person at Screwfix Live. Radine says, I fitted quick connectors to my old GHP, which makes incompatible with industry standard quarter quick connection. However, the new range eliminates the ability to do this.
Well,
Right. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah. We actually haven't had the new generation of GHPs in the training centre at this point.
We did attend a training session with the actual machines. However, they were very early marketing samples, and the possibility that designs changed since then. So it's something I think we need to look into and see if we can get back to you on that one.
Well, they're designed in Stowmarket, which isn't very far away from us, and obviously we have direct contact with the engineers, so we can quite easily reach out and ask them exactly what the differences are between the new and second generation of these pressure washers. There has been a few positive things, so it's not all negative on the pressure washers. So some. As an example, especially on the bigger machines, they've eliminated some of that high draw problems.
They had a massive amp draw concern with the older models, where if you were repeatedly pulled the trigger, the constant amp draw or the stacked amp draw would then blow a fuse in domestic power supply.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually you wouldn't do that. However, if someone, for instance, is idly standing around pulling the trigger repeatedly, then it can blow the fuse. Now, the new machines come with a soft start for the motor, so the motor gradually comes up to speed, not noticeably, but enough to prevent that amp draw blowing the fuse in a domestic power supply. Yeah,
so we know there's some differences, but we'll double check the fittings with the engineers. Unless we actually get a sample in and we'll have a look at it. We're trying to hold off on bringing in too many machines into the office until we make the move, because it's just more things.
That's it,
More things to move over. Right, but nice to see you in the chat, Radine, and obviously it was really great to meet you in person. Okay, what's the next question we got here? Right, better make sure and double check these names aren't suspicious. So we got Silver Poe Bandit.
Yep.
Will there be an option to use smaller bars on the new chainsaw model? I know we've just got this one, so I should be happy with it. Yeah, but will there be any plan to expand the line further in the future? I think you might just be able to see ones behind me there. Right, so this is a interesting question. We would argue that in theory it is possible to change the bar and chain. It is a Oregon bar and chain. If there is one that is compatible from Oregon, you could change it. However, there's a number of considerations.
Yep. Officially, we're not able to advise on modifying a machine anything beyond how we supply it, largely for legal reasons, probably because the box has been a big red tick to say that this product meets those classifications. So we can't break with tradition and tell you that yes, you can modify it or not. However, we do have additional chainsaws coming to the range with different bar lengths. So again, it's there is a solution.
Yeah. One of the reasons why there's a couple of things out there, and again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong or expand upon my point, that many people out there, generally speaking, prefer, and this is for people that are really, that specialize in the kinds of applications that require chainsaws, that a heavier and larger chainsaw is preferable in most cases, unless you're talking about trying to be compact. One of the reasons is a bit more weight, and it does reduce the chances of getting a kickback. The shorter bar and faster chain machines increase that risk.
The less mass on the bar, the easier it is for the machine to kick back and you to resist it quickly enough. So it's traveling fast towards you.
So unless you unless you have a requirement to run a shorter bar and chain because you're in a more compact scenario, then typically speaking, the longer the bar, the better. But as Dan points out, stay tuned. We will.
You're not going to have a particularly long wait.
No,
either.
Exactly. Yeah.
No. There's some exciting things coming to chainsaws.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. We are not bringing like everything, especially in the new lawn and garden range for the Pro range. We're not just having one product and leaving it. It's just a slow build up, and we're really gathering steam here. With a lot of new products, and chainsaw is just one category where we're going to have a lot more coming out.
100%.
Right.
I'll let you read all of these because I can't. I have to take the glasses off to read more.
Okay, well I'll do that. These are not names. Nimate 2. I think the Pro 360 app is a great tool, especially in an era where keeping track of valuable tools is essential. It allows you to maintain an inventory. Yep, that's correct. Not just Bosch tools, also correct. However, it would be even more useful if it had an export function to create a list for insurers, the police. Do you agree? 100%.
100%. Yes, we've had this conversation with the Pro 360 team actually over in Germany. We agree this for insurance purposes, especially if you're dealing with the police, and you can supply this with a crime number for insurance purposes, 100% perfect. However, currently, the only way we can do this is if we request this directly from Germany, and then they provide the readout of your Pro360 account. Now, there is a push forwards to get this done. There's a facility within the app where you can download it. It will be on the desktop version, I should imagine, to get almost a spreadsheet of all of the details down there directly off of the website.
I've been asking for that functionality, and I want to make sure that functionality remains free, as opposed to having a premium service to have that functionality. The plan is that it will be free. I think they're developing it, was my understanding. That's the last time I spoke to them. Absolutely 100% agree. And if it helps try and helps reduce theft, or we actually trying to want to expand the Pro360 a little bit more, because we have had some meetings with, in our case, the Metropolitan Police, trying to work out a way of trying to in general to minimize tool theft, because trust me, I bet it's the same for you guys, but around here, van thefts is just rife.
Yes.
Okay, and it's annoying, let's just say everyone, obviously. And so what we're trying to do is have a way that we could hopefully, if the tools are recovered by local police forces, that we could allow them to access some form of information, serial numbers, for example, to get these tools back to people, especially when they're found at car boot sales or whatever, or recovered by the police. If we can have some form of integration on that system, that would be even better too.
Well, a lot of the car boot sales now will refuse selling any sort of power tool. So again, it's been attacked from both ends of the scale, I think. But remember, we're an international company, and it's not just Chris and I that are shouting for this functionality. There's trainers globally who are shouting for this functionality as well. So it stands to reason it's going to get done at some point. It's just a waiting game for them to develop it.
So in summary, what we'll do is, we know the functionality exists. We'll find out how easy it is for you guys to access. It might, at the moment, it maybe you just have to email the people on the back offices of the app itself, but I'll find out the exact process, the best process to do that, and see if I can get a roadmap and see when you have user export functionality. It will go into a CSV or an Excel file, I'm sure of that. I've seen the output. So we'll get that sorted for you and find out what the process is and make it easier for you. So that's a good question. And I'm glad people are using the Pro360 app, because, just like you said there, Nimi Yit too. It is really good, and it's free of charge. And if once you guys get used to it, I think you can add a lot of productivity and just keeping your serial numbers in one place. Because I know no one makes a note of it when they get nicked. Got no chance. But anyway, we can go on all day. We're not going to. Dharma, some questions from the chat, I suppose.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of questions.
Let's keep just a few.
Yeah, I'll do a few for now. I'll try to get through all of them today, but if I can't, then just leave them in the comments.
We'll have to do another one of these live streams.
It looks like we will.
Okay, so first question is from
another tricky name.
Diana. And he said, "Hi guys, question. Does the new GKS 18 volt 572GX tilt outwards or just inwards?"
But only bevels one way.
Yes, only bevels one way. There's no undercut function on it, no. No, it's 0 to 40 degrees? No, 50 degrees.
If it's on the 50, rail this way, pointing this way, that way. 50.
Yeah,
up
bevels
to
50 degrees,
Next question is, any plans for a 12mm, a half-inch battery-powered router?
That's one of the questions we're going to have in a minute.
Yes.
So, you say half-inch, was it?
Yeah. So it'd be a half-inch router. So that's what we're waiting for. I've seen pictures of it.
Let's just say it would be foolish if we weren't developing a half-inch to go alongside our cordless quarter-inch.
Yes.
We can't give you any dates, of course, but we can reassure you that we're obviously developing one.
Okay, final question for now. Are there any plans for a 12-volt detail sander? One that is good for all the places where a multi-tool could be used, but with a circular sanding pattern?
Maybe.
We cannot confirm or deny whether or not that type of tool will be out in this new range of 12-volt machines coming out, fingers crossed, next year. But I definitely know that something like that is considered strongly.
Yes.
Okay. So back to some of the questions we had earlier. Honestly, all the questions we got were were great questions. We were expecting more fluff, but we got some good, or chaff. We got some good ones. Okay, so from Paracoops, we need more cordless tools for mechanics. That's your area, Dan.
Yep.
When will we see an 18-volt grease gun, an 18-volt 3/8 ratchet, and a larger range of LED light bars?
Light bar would be great. The type, I'm assuming you mean the ones that clip underneath the bonnet to be able to illuminate the engine bay, would be great. That particular one, I've not seen anything on the roadmap yet, unfortunately, but we are always looking towards the live streams to gather more intel about what the market's really after. So questions like this go an awful long way. Grease guns, yes, would be 100%. That would be a great idea. Maybe something like that might be in the pipeline.
And if, in the meantime, if you are on the 18-volt platform, don't forget the Amp Share Alliance.
Yes.
So we know for a fact that some of our partners do manufacture 18-volt.
The name escapes me at the minute, but there is one that is a grease gun manufacturer. So yes, they would be able to help you out, and you'd still be able to use your 18-volt Bosch batteries, both Procore.
So that's worth considering in the meantime. But obviously, I'm sure you're all loyal Bosch fans out there. So as Danny says, yes, we do need one, and maybe one is in the works.
And as far as wrenches, I couldn't possibly comment.
No, of course not. But guess what? It's essential for us to have one in the range. So take from that whatever you'd like.
I come from Automotive originally, and I would be incredibly excited if they did.
Okay, next questions. What are the differences between the older black Impact bit set and the new Pro Impact bit sets? Well, that's good. We've actually got a couple of examples here.
Yes.
So
I
if
can
I,
get some of this
that's fine.
background.
Right. So I'll pop that on there. See if that cuts over to the close-up camera. It's cleaner. Right. So that is an example of the current Impact set bits, and what they're referencing to is there is a new style that's come out in some slightly different packaging. There's a few things happened. One, you can see it's a little longer.
A little longer, yeah.
There you go. Or taller, however you want to say. I'll say longer is probably the appropriate term. It's actually a bit darker. It's got a different kind of finish to it as well.
Yep. It's got more of a satin finish rather than the matte finish that the previous one did.
Yeah, and also you can see the sleeve now has a colour coding as well. So that one's got for a pH.
That's a pH.
It's got that blue colour. So yeah, there's been a number of things. So we're improving some of our products here, and this is a nice improvement. Essentially, you are looking at a longer torsional zone. So this white section, essentially, that is designed to flex a little bit when you are using it with an impact driver.
Yeah. This is what prevents the actual bit from potentially grabbing and snapping, which you'd find, especially if you're using, these are designed for impact, so impact would, on a standard bit, would just shatter the bit. This gives you a little bit of torsion and allows you to put that little bit more torque through it without the risk of breaking the bit.
That's right. And in addition, we've also improved a lot of the machining in the actual heads themselves, so it reduces the chances or reduces the amount of cam out that you might get.
Yeah,
so it's a very minor point.
Less likely to slip in the screw head, so yes.
Yeah, so it doesn't, it's not easy to see, but it's a very, very minor change on the tips of those bits to make them just better than they were before. It's
tricky to show in the close-up, but if you look from the top down, they're slightly thicker.
Yeah, it's very difficult to show.
So yeah, they've changed the angle profile to the tip of the screwdriver bit, so it just interlocks into the Phillips head screwdriver in this case.
That's right.
More securely.
That's right. So what you'll be seeing in the coming weeks and months, it's already out there, is you'll be seeing this new Pro range of accessories. You probably, hopefully, are already aware of the Expert range, the blue packaged accessories. Now you're going to see these more grey packages, white and grey I believe they are, which are going to be the Pro range. So those are, you're still professional. Obviously they're going to sit slightly below the Expert in regards to price.
These will be coming out in a clear plastic container as well. So whereas before we had the pick and click sets, which was two grey sections that clipped together, so you couldn't see what was in there. With these, the top cover will be crystal clear, so you can see exactly what's in there at a glance. So you're not going to be rummaging through all your different pick and click boxes, trying to find the one with the screwdriver bits in it. So this gives you quick access to the bits that you need when you need them.
But to reassure the person who's asking the question, if you have the previous generation impact torsion or impact control bits, don't worry. you're not missing out. So
No.
they're still absolutely excellent bits. We still use them day in, day out. Okay, they've got excellent longevity. All we've done with this new generation 2 is make some slight improvements.
Yeah, it's an evolution at the end of the day,
right,
isn't it? Yeah.
So if you're up in the market for some new bits, yeah, feel free. And if you can get access to this new supply, feel free. You won't be upset about it. But however, if you're currently using, or you only got access to the existing or the previous system, don't worry, you're not missing out too much. It's just a little bit of an improvement, an incremental improvement. So don't let that put you off buying the previous generation.
Yeah.
Not at all. Okay, right, we'll move on to Dean is asking, or he's stating more accurately, need more electricians' tools.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes. You've not got long to wait. There'll be some power tools coming soon.
There is so much.
Yeah. And there's a priority, I think, early next year on electricians' tool bag systems.
Yep.
So, yes. So
It's actually more, I would argue, it is a laser focus on electricians.
really is, yeah. Yeah. It's can't really go into it too much more.
No.
But there's power tools and there's they're all power tools really, aren't they? That's the thing.
Of course, yeah. How can we word this delicately? We have
Measuring tools.
Yes, we've got some
power tools.
We've got some measuring tools, and we've got some power tools specifically for electricians out there. We've got hydraulic tools as well.
Yes.
We've got a wide range of electrician tools to go alongside what I think is quite a comprehensive range of VDE hand tools. So you can see that we are already building up more and more focus on the electrician's tool bag. So trust me.
It's not just domestic electricians either.
No,
so
all of it.
if you are in the motor industry or automotive, we've got solutions for you there as well.
Yeah. So if you want some dates, so we can't tell you the products, fine, no problems. But we're looking at some products, obviously. Beginning of next year, we're going to have some products, and then we're going to have even more coming out in the first and second, in the first 8 months of the year.
That's safe to say, yeah.
I should argue it's actually probably going to be in the first 4 to 6 months, actually. You'll see more and more of those tools come out there, and then we can talk about them in much more detail. In fact, once we've got more of them come out, we'll do a special live stream on it, because it's such an important focus for us. So, so Dean, hopefully, if you're an electrician, hopefully you're going to be very happy with us. They're good-looking stuff.
Yes.
Radine's back. Is there a possibility of a new dual battery 18-volt tool that would really benefit from the extra power? Now, my first example would be, absolutely. I mean, the lawnmower, the GRA 18V2-46 is a great example of the first 2x 18-volt Pro tool that we've got in the range that really benefits from that system. We are not leaving that technology or that 2x 18-volt to the mower.
It's not a one-off.
That's not a one-off. So there will be some more tools coming out. Now I don't know if we're going to get them all in the UK. There are some I can think of. I would like them to come out, but definitely we are looking where necessary to bring out 2x 18-volt.
Yeah. And with that, it makes sense to have a charger that would match, wouldn't it?
It would be definitely important to have a 2-bay charger as well. Now, I think that's already snuck out. I think our German colleagues have talked about it. So, yes, obviously a fast, super fast 2x 18-volt charger will be necessary to support those tools.
Exactly.
Right, when will we hear more about the lbox contractor? And what is your opinion on the lbox system? Now, actually, we haven't been officially told it's called
I got a bit
contractor.
blindsided by this, actually, and I had to look it up myself.
That's right, yes. So what we're referring to there is a second generation of lbox system that might be more similar to some of the systems that some of our competitors have.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. What's the question here? The question is, when will we hear more? Well, when we hear more, you're going to hear more. All we know is that it's currently in development. It's going to be a really good range of trolley-based systems. There's a good chance a lot of that might also incorporate itself into additional van storage, and maybe the flexibility to turn into some form of workshop storage, possibly. But at this stage, it's too early. We've only seen some of the initial designs that have leaked out there onto the internet.
I did have someone run past the office the other day, very, very excited, saying, "Were you in that meeting? I saw something amazing." And I wasn't in the meeting, so I can't. I'm apparently really good.
That's right. And what do we think of the current lbox system? it was good in its time. I think we've
It's well overdue an update.
That's right, exactly. So don't worry, we agree, and I can guarantee all the people centrally also agree that we need to improve our lbox system in order for us to stay competitive, and also for our users to feel like that you guys are still cutting edge and that you're getting the best out of Bosch. So we all agree. Okay, Connor is asking, hiya guys. My GKF 18V-8 has just arrived. He absolutely loves it. Good. We absolutely love it as well. Haven't bought any accessories as of yet. Is there a router base that is compatible with the Trend Hinge Jig Guide Bush? I'm keen to get a few more accessories for the router. Cheers.
Right. So, I've managed to preempt this one. So I believe the Trend Hinge router jig you're talking about is a 16mm. We do a 16mm guide bushing. However, our guide bushings are different from the Trend ones in the way that they actually fit the machine. So this is one of our guide bushings here. As you can see, it's got a proprietary system on the outside for fitting it into the base. Now, the first thing you'll need is this piece here. So this is designed to screw into the two holes on your plunge base. It's just here. This one has already got one fitted. I popped that in earlier. So that screws into the plunge base on the inside, so the router will operate through the top of it there. And then underneath, when you want to fit the guide bushing, you just drop it into the hole. It indexes in there, and there's a lever underneath where you lock it in. So there you go. That's your guide bush fitted into your actual router base there. Now, we don't do a 16mm one in our metric set of guide bushings, although there is going to be a complete set of guide bushings coming very soon. However, I can give you the number off of the bottom of this one, and this is the router guide bushing that you will need for that particular jig. So this is an RA1113. So measured it up, 16mm will work with that guide template. Cool. Does that make sense?
Good answer.
If there's any more things need clearing up about that, let me know, and we'll see if we can answer.
All right, okay, next one. Declan Murphy, 18-volt belt sander question mark.
Would be lovely, wouldn't it?
It would be. Now, I did see some early communications quite a while ago, I must admit, on the potential for an 18-volt belt sander. Now, I've not seen any follow-up on that. That doesn't mean it isn't being developed, because sometimes we find that some tools just appear on our desks some days.
Yes. Yep.
Again, that's just a reassurance that although yes, we've kind of removed our mains powered.
No,
belt
we don't
sanders.
currently have a mains one. We've got one in DIY.
Yeah, so I mean, as in we've removed it and with no replacement at all, but that doesn't mean that we've abandoned the idea or the concept of having a professional belt sander in the range. An 18-volt one is obviously what you're asking for, and I think the same thing. Very popular in America, I know, but in the UK here, we do a few things similar to the Americans as well. But I think, to be honest, a belt sander seems to me to be quite a necessary product, really.
It does, yes. Yeah.
There's oftentimes in the workshops when we're making stuff, I go, I wish I had a belt sander.
Yeah, if you want to really rapidly remove material, then that's the sander that you go for. If you're not mucking about, that'll take any material away. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So to answer your question, not yet. Not soon as well, I can be honest with you. There's a few things that we can kind of tease a little bit, but I've not seen anything with the belt sander, unless, as I said, it just appears one day.
Yeah.
So apologies for that one. Hey, the Sidings Workshop, always lovely to have you in the chat, mate. Always great. Now this question might need a little clarity. I don't know if you were in the chat today. So the GKS 18V GC, that's confused Dan and I. We need to know which one. We presume it's the 68C you're talking about here, but we'll find out. But let's just say the GC is a great saw. I've used it a lot since getting it. The power is awesome. Yes, it is. And great for cutting up the old lock timbers ready for machining. There's one thing I dislike though. The lever on the height adjustment is plastic and flexes when setting the height. Is there any chance getting it upgraded to an alloy lever as a purchasable accessory? So first off, we might presume you might be talking about the GKS 18V-68C, because that's the one that has the plastic lever on the back, whereas the 68GC, that's the one that has the lever on the top to adjust. They're both plastic, however, but I'm assuming, or we're assuming, the flex is happening with the C model. Now, this model here, so we're assuming it's this lever that you're not happy about. And yes, it does have a little bit of flex. And I would argue that might be a good thing because it's flexing because it's not breaking at least. But it is made out of glass reinforced plastic, so it is a sturdy plastic. So I would say that's not a problem. If you're worried about it, it's not going to affect the accuracy, obviously, of your settings. And if I'm being honest, it's not something you should necessarily need to be putting a lot of pressure on.
No, it doesn't really need over tightening at all. With the way that the actual slide mechanism works for the height adjustment, it only really needs to pinch the plate, the slide plate behind it, for it to lock into position.
Yeah, it's very little.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the flex
even that's
is
too much.
Yeah, a lot of the flex is happening from the shaft as opposed to the lever
actual
itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've not had any problems with the levers breaking on our models, and we've obviously had quite a few, and I'm definitely not kind to our machines.
Certainly not.
I definitely put them through their endurance and torture tests. I've not had any trouble with that, even dropping it off things, but I can imagine that it would be nice to have a few more metal parts to reduce damage, but currently I do not have and do not expect to have that as an alloy part.
No. Not as we don't tend to do retrofit parts in different materials. So that's what comes with the machine. That's what we would sell as a spare part. Saying that, sometimes you get some left field things some days, but
sure.
I haven't heard anything about that. And historically, having used the machine plenty of times, I've not really had an issue.
But hey, we've got a direct line to the product managers and the engineers. We're happy to pass on this feedback that there are some people wondering whether or not certain parts, movable parts, wear parts, might like them to be alloy instead of plastic. Interestingly,
I think one of the smaller circular saws does have an alloy rod that actually does the same thing. So, yeah, they've obviously seen an issue somewhere along the line, but yeah.
I mean,
whether it's retrofittable, I don't know. Again, like we said earlier, it's not something that we can advise on really.
Sometimes it's actually one of those things that they're being tasked to keep the weight to a minimum.
Yeah.
And on the larger bi-turbo saws, the machines are bigger and more powerful, of course. But there's a fine line between a machine that people like yourselves, users, might perceive as too heavy or heavier than they're expecting. And as you say, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, thanks, the Sidings Workshop. Always good to have you in the chat. Okay, is there a framing gun in the works? Will it be flywheel powered or nitrogen powered like the concrete nailers?
Yes.
Yes, there is one in the list.
Yep.
We cannot have a nailer range without a first fix nailer.
Yes.
Obviously, that we've said that from the beginning. We can't tell you too much about it.
You showed me a sneaky video that you made in Stuttgart. And flywheel drive, I think.
I would expect it to be a flywheel drive system. Yes, is the question. That's what we would expect it to be. That would be in line with.
It's got so many benefits and so little drawbacks, really. Not having to supply the gas, not have to worry about any of those additional consumables or anything. It just makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And we've already got a mature range of first fix nails, collated first fix nails in the range. So again, it's just developing a machine on the 18-volt platform that can fire them, really. Yeah,
so nitrogen powered, that's really referring to a piston cylinder.
Nitrogen is the nitrogen spring in the concrete nailer.
Yeah, exactly. So it could be either. We have no confirmation yet. Okay,
but I don't think the nitrogen spring would be rapid fire enough for that application.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think we've got I think it's a nail every 2 to 3 seconds with the concrete nail.
Yes.
And whereas
you've got to be going some for that as well.
I was going to say, I mean, that's again, we have this question about how rapid you want the nails to fire. We've made the improvements with the second fix nailers because you gave us feedback. I'm sure we'll get the same feedback for a first fix nailer if it wasn't fast enough. So I think that we're going with whatever is the faster drive system. Okay, before we move on to some more questions, coming to your ones, Delusional Portland, we've got maybe potentially, what do you reckon, Dharma? Have we got some more questions?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say Sidings Workshop was actually in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but he just said, loving the new cordless router. The bit change lock mechanism is fantastic.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah, there's no fumbling around trying to hold buttons in or anything like that. Or even on the older ones, 2 spanners to undo the collar. It seems a thing of the past now.
I said this when we presented it in part of the new product live streams, that You know, yes, it took a long time to come out. We fully admit. When it first turned up, I was so happy with the quality.
Yeah.
All the little touches, like you pointed out there, doesn't seem like much, but there's literally almost nothing on that machine. And I'm very critical. I'm so critical.
Yeah.
If you knew me in person, you know that I'm a miserable old so-and-so.
Yes.
That machine,
I can account for
believe it or
that.
not, that machine brought a smile to my face. That's a rarity. Right?
Yes, yeah.
So-
Unfortunately, I missed it with a picture, or I'll share it with you, because you probably very rarely see him
That's
smile.
right, yes. But that means, and I prefer that, because that means if I say something's good, that means it's seriously good,
Yeah.
because I won't say anything unless it's outstanding. And yes, that router's really makes me happy.
Yeah.
Should we move on, Dom, or should we see if there's any more questions for me?
Yeah, there's a few questions that I'll ask now and then you can move on. So firstly, are there any plans for 12A or even 15A Procore Plus batteries?
Now, this I can't tell you yet. We know we've hinted that there's a possibility that we might be expanding the Procore Plus tabless cells to different batteries within the Procore 18-volt range. At the moment, it's still up in the air which ones of those might be, whether it's the entire range or a select number. We've hinted, but this isn't because anyone's told us. We've just made this conclusion ourselves that maybe we will take the opportunity to bring out some 15 amp hour batteries to replace the existing triple layer 12 amp hour Procore 18V batteries. But that's just, honestly, that is just our speculation at this point. We haven't got anything confirmed.
It would be the icing on the cake, I think, if they did something like that.
If there is going to be any updates, again, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that will start happening next year.
Yeah. Another question is, will we be expanding on our cordless range soon and widening out the tool selection?
I feel like
We have the last couple of years. We really have gone a long way towards expanding the collection,
we have,
and we're not stopping there. So from what I've seen from the roadmap for this year, we're doing very much of the same thing.
That's right.
So we're filling categories out now that we haven't filled before. Gone are the days where we would produce combi after combi or rotary hammer after rotary hammer. We have a very good range in both combis and rotary hammers, and we've retasked those teams to develop new and different tools that we don't have in the range currently.
Yeah, we were saying that we are no longer we're going wide with our range as opposed to deep, which is what we traditionally have done with, especially things like grinders as well. We're very renowned. We're well known for our grinders and our hammers. Last time I think we mentioned this, I think we might have done maybe a round. It might have been even the roundup last year. Yes, it was the Christmas special last year where we did a roundup of the year. And there were so many products. You know, we said, look at all the products that we brought out in this year.
Yeah.
I think it might be even the previous new tools live stream we did, which is only a few back now.
Yeah.
Which was September. I think it might have been the one in September or October, maybe October. We couldn't get through the live stream. It was only 2 hours 40, and we couldn't get through every product.
No,
so
we actually missed one or two off of the end as well because we just couldn't get it in. Again, we've got to go home at some point.
That's right, yeah. So my argument back is by saying, no, in my opinion, you know, we are definitely bringing out more and more products. Yes, true. There are still some product categories that need some attention. But they said, we are on it.
Oh, yes, 100%. Exciting things to come.
We agree, and we are absolutely on it. We are absolutely on it, yeah.
Radine has another question in the chat, and he's asked, Bosch Green has a Flexi-click with hammer function, but the pros don't.
So it's the DIY has a Flexi-click with the hammer. Oh, I know what he means. He means a Flexi-click with percussion.
Ah, yes.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were thinking you might mean the SDS function. No, it's a yes, the percussion. They have a combi with Flexi-click.
So it will be the equivalent of a GSB Flexi-click rather than, well, in the Pro range we do the GSR with the Flexi-click attachment, and we take care of that with the SDS attachment.
That's right, yeah.
So not as a percussion hammer, but as a
I'll be honest, that is a fair point. If what the DIYs can do it, why don't the pros? And it might be beneficial for some people that like the Flexi-click function, but they don't want to buy an SDS attachment because they don't have the bits for it, or they don't want that they just want to have the ability to do some light percussion work in red brick, for example.
More of a DIY application, really. It makes sense to have the combination of a drill driver, hammer, and all of the angles that you can have with a kind of a flex click for DIY. not necessarily for the pro.
Yeah, but we know our pros, and
Yeah.
what they know, they want everything all in one thing, and that really sums up the Flexi-click. It would be nice to have. Let's bring it up.
Yeah.
I think I might have brought it up the original time, because I was surprised the first time I was presented with the DIY Flexi-click system.
Surprised that it had the 3 settings.
Yeah, I was generally surprised. So yes, that's a valid point. Not seen anything anything to support whether or not we're bringing out a pro one, but if we can do it, and we're not going to get into the details of what's happening centrally with regards to the DIY and pro brands, but from what Danny and I know, there is a good chance that some of the technologies and some of the things might start blending together a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
Good question. Okay, so back to some of the questions we got on social. So where are we? I think this one was asking whether from yourself, Delusional, whether or not this is the new workshop you're streaming from. So we answered that one already. What about a cordless tile cutting saw? And to complement that, when will the paddle mixers be coming out for tilers? So a cordless tile cutting saw.
Yes, there was a corded tile cutting saw that came out maybe 2-3 years ago now. This wasn't brought to the UK. Largely over here, we tend to use grinders with tile cutting, especially the expert diamond grinder bits for doing the same sort of job. And you'd use the dust extractor hood with the wheels on to get your nice flat surface to actually operate the grinder with. So we never actually brought it to the UK. So it was just, I believe, that was an India release only.
Okay.
I think. So yeah, that was not brought to the UK. So far as a tile cutter, no, not in cordless. If they wouldn't bring the mains one here, I doubt that they would think about the cordless.
No, exactly.
But you never know. Times might change. Again, that social pressure that you can put on us for during these live streams may have an effect to the people who make the decisions.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, in my experience, most people seem to be content with just using the traditional angle grinder. Because we've got an angle grinder and what I think is a really good GDE system.
Yes.
To supplement that, one of the wheels, as you said. I think, did you mention this already?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fine. I think that solution is the better.
Well, there's multiple solutions as well. There's one without the wheels as well, so you can get even deeper depth of cut on
yes,
that,
of course. That seems to be quite versatile, and that's the one that I see, that type of system, both ours and some others, that many people like to use because it's a bit more universal. It's not just a specialist tool. But again, I guess if you're asking that question about a specialist tile cutting saw, then that's something that you're looking for. The second part of your question is about paddle mixers. Let's just say you're going to be very happy.
Very soon.
Yeah, you might see a video coming out maybe in the beginning of next year that might have our lovely mugs on it.
Yep.
And we'll be talking about maybe 1 or 2 things that you will be very excited to see. It's not obviously just for tilers, it's for everyone, but you're going to be more than happy with both models. Right, what do we got now? So WB Plump is asking, can we expect a smaller mitre saw with the glide mechanism like the GCM 12 GDL? And I guess he didn't mention it, but obviously the GCM 18 V-305 GDC. So that's the robot arm on the back of our 12-inch mitre saws. I always nearly say the sliding because it's just automatic. The glide mitre saws. Now,
it'd be lovely to see a 216mm or 8-inch with that mechanism, meaning that you can obviously push the machine right up against the wall, save you a little bit of workshop space.
That's right. So my answer would be I would love to be able to say we're bringing one out. At the moment, I think the reason why we're not, it's going to be a price thing. For the people that are purchasing the smaller mitre saws,
it's going to be quite specific that you're going for obviously a smaller depth of cut for a more expensive machine. So it's all to do with volume.
What I'm basically saying is I think we obviously could do it, but I don't know whether or not people would want to pay for the additional premium on what is a really nice feature, don't get me wrong, on the smaller, less expensive saws. It would definitely be nice, and it'd be really good if all our saws had that glide arm. I think it's still unique to us at Bosch, but at the moment I don't envision seeing that not on the smaller saws. Right. Now, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this one. I'm just going to...
You have to spell it out.
Spell it out. Okay, so XKJDNF KXDJNF is asking, and to be honest, you should
Name our tools.
name our tools. You're clearly skilled at it. Any new gardening tools?
Ooh.
Obviously, yes, 100%.
Yes,
Obviously,
100%.
chainsaw is added to the range, obviously, and we
For some reason, I went hand tools and green ones. For a moment there.
we got those too. We're presuming this is pro gardening. We've always got new DIY gardening tools, obviously. We've told you from the beginning that the lawn and garden range is just starting.
Yes.
And that hasn't changed. There are probably going to be some new products that we'll be able to talk about New Year. Yeah, not just one or two. I think maybe you'll have a handful of those. So if you wait till the new year, hopefully we'll be able to include that, and maybe we will have an update to the Pro lawn and garden range, because I think it's about time now, because there's been quite a few new products when this new batch are added to the range. And that might answer a few questions from previous owners, previous inquirers in regards to the chainsaw, smaller chainsaws, for example.
Yes, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
So look forward to it next year, without a doubt. Now, Connor, I think, is back. I can't do small jobs anymore with my 12-volt kit. Sorry to hear that. We need more 12-volt tools. What about a 12-volt SDS or a 12-volt drill with a full-size 13mm chuck?
I think we covered this in one of our live streams previously, didn't we?
The SDS drill comes up a lot.
Yeah, the SDS drill comes up a lot. Obviously, we've got the Flexi-click, but we're aware that you out there would really like an SDS 12-volt machine.
Dedicated, yes.
Dedicated machine. I certainly haven't seen anything yet to do with that. I don't know whether you have, but sometimes Chris gets wind of things that I don't necessarily get.
I just pay attention.
It's a bit of a personal attack there.
Oh, classic. No,
Yeah.
we haven't. It's one of those products that we both agree we really love to have.
Yep.
And let's be frank here, we know that there are competitors that have it. Whether, we're not going to comment on their performance, but we know if we made one, it'd be outstanding.
Yes.
We want one. We haven't seen anything about that. 12-volt drill with a 13mm chuck. My argument would be the limitations of the 12-volt platform.
Yeah. Typically, we've put a 10mm chuck on 12-volt machines to prevent the user from overloading the drill with a drill bit that's too big. That, and of course, because of the plastic chucks, we're trying to keep the rotating weight down on the machines as well. I'm sure with the latest brushless technology that we can do something in that sort of field. I don't think we're doing it currently. No, I've not heard anything currently about that.
Okay, yeah, but as I said, we are continuing to innovate on the 12-volt range, but we are looking at the moment on doing what you actually always ask us for, which is bringing out different tools, not just drills, hammers and grinders and stuff. So we're looking to bring new products to widen the 12-volt range. Now, Sergio Leone is asking, circular saws, including plunge, plus guide rails, comparison and how to choose. Now that's almost like an entire live stream of its own. We did cover quite a lot of the circular saw products, and off the back of that, we obviously talked about what they're best for and what you may or may not want these saws for.
Largely, the choices are going to be down to application. What sort of applications you're mainly doing.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're doing always pick the worst case scenario that you'll be doing with a circular saw and spec for that, rather than trying to punish maybe a less performing machine to do a job that you might get every now and again.
Yes, I mean, I word it this in a similar way, which is if you're buying a machine to do its maximum all the time, go upper class at least.
Exactly.
Because you want to be, it's like that optimal range. It's like if you wouldn't want to sprint everywhere. No. Eventually you'll get exhausted, right? So you're looking for something in your comfortable range.
Yes.
Now that live stream that we did on the circular saws, I think might have been woodworking part 1 maybe.
Oh, that was going back a few years.
Exactly, going back quite a few years.
Yeah,
so
a couple of years. Yeah.
The range has changed significantly since then.
Yes.
So that I would argue that's out of date and needs an update. Now, so the question I would answer, comparison and how to choose. Danny's made the first part. Pick a machine that has got the cutting capacity you want.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my first
worst case scenario.
Second point I'd look at, and this is an important one because if you don't make this decision early on, you're going to have a lot of trouble. do you want it to be guide rail compatible or not? You're not going to be retrofitting a non-guide rail machine. You're not going to be changing the base plate. You need to plan ahead of that and make sure if you do want to potentially upgrade to a guide rail at some point, you buy the model with the G in it. So a GKS 18V-68 GC. Okay. So the next stage would be, again, cutting capacity. So that kind of factors into whether or not you want bi-turbo or not. I think that's given based on the cutting capacity. Okay, and then the other factor we've got is whether or not you want a left or right blade bias machine. Because now we've got the option pretty much on every product. So you've got 57Ls, and you've got the 70Ls, which are the bi-turbos, the 68s, for example. So that's what you want. Do you want a left-hand bias? When it comes to plunge saws,
if you're going to do plunge cutting, get a plunge
saw. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah. The only thing to take into consideration when you get a plunge saw is the fact that the blade is smaller, so the depth of cut is going to be less. But typically, you're going to be plunge cutting, worst case scenario, through worktops or maybe some slightly thicker worktops if you're doing that sort of kitchen renovation stuff or farmhouse type restorations. Usually, I think that when the 140mm blade that you'll find on our GKT 18V-52 is obviously depth of cut's 52. So yeah, that would be plenty for those sort of applications. But you don't want to be trying to do a plunge cut with a standard circular saw. You can, however, the blades are not designed for that, and you will damage the blades a lot quicker. The tooth pitch is completely wrong for doing that sort of application.
When it comes to the guide rails, and I'm getting the feeling that, yes, I think we might need to do, I'll be very happy to do a follow-up live stream, because we have been wanting to do one on the guide rail system as well, but secretly, I wanted to postpone it until the new GKS 18V-57-2GX.
Yes.
Because that...
The fear was talking about the FSN guide rail system for maybe an hour.
No, well,
originally I thought this might be a little bit of a stretch and not a particular fan favourite. However, with the FSN X system joined to that as well, there's an awful lot of accessories that come with the FSN system that we can talk about. If it's something that you're excited on seeing, obviously pop it down in the comments, let us know.
That's right, yeah. Well, I mean, you've got an example of the 18-volt GX saw there.
Yes, I have.
If you just grab it for me for a second, because that also might factor into the question on what saws.
Hang on, can't reach it.
Can't reach it. That also might be part of the question on whether or not you might be going with a GX model now, which is a completely different kind of FSN guide rail system, but the saw itself is significantly different from all the other saws we've got as well. So that might be worth considering, because this is an open guard machine, so you don't...
I got to admit, if I was looking for a depth of cut 57, I'd go for this machine every single time. Because it's guide rail attachment. And if I wanted to later on down the line, I could get the FSN system to use that as well.
It's also got stop control as an additional feature. All our circular saws, all our 18-volt circular saws have effective kickback control as well as part of the electronics. So they're all good to choose from, but there's a really great choice of saws. We might even cover that as a specialist live stream, as we said. But to answer your question very quickly, pick a machine that's got plenty of headroom when it comes to cutting capacity. Decide early on if you want to have guide rail compatibility, whether that guide rail compatibility now wants to extend to the new GX system. Otherwise, you're happy with the normal guide rail system, then just get the normal G models. But if you want the new system, you have to be going for that model, the GX model. And that's about it, really, I'd imagine. Get some good batteries to run it, get some high amp hour batteries or some Procore 18-volt batteries for extra performance. I don't think you can go wrong, really. And get some good blades. Get the expert blades as well, if you can, if that's appropriate for you.
It's always a good upgrade to any of the machines. A lot of the bi-turbo ones especially, and this one, for instance, comes as standard with the expert blade. But if you have a standard circular saw, upgrade it with the expert blade, and you're certainly not going to be disappointed.
All right. God, we could go on all day about that. But if you are not sure, have a look at the new GX models. I think you'll be very happy. As long as it's got your cutting capacity, you won't go wrong. Right, next question from Tanner Brown. This one is, what happened to Ella? There she is. That's right. So Ella is on one of the cameras. So she's, is this a promotion or demotion? Or is this a downgrade or an upgrade? I don't know. No, she's not going to tell us.
No.
Not telling us.
She's gone quiet now.
That's right. So Ella now is running on the cameras for us, and she's doing a fabulous job. We can't badmouth any of the previous people.
No.
Yeah, we won't do that.
No.
She's doing a fabulous job on cameras, and she's upgraded herself from the Q&A. I'm sure Dharma will end up on the cameras too at some point as well, I'm sure. Question again. We need a wider variety of heated jackets and hoodies for winter, and also a new type of battery solution for jackets, because the 12-volt battery pack is huge, heavy and bulky. Well, the first point I would say is, the battery pack is inconvenient, I can imagine, but I don't think you want to go for a smaller battery, because 12 volt is, I think, the Goldilocks when it comes to power and energy.
You get a fairly long run time with a 3 amp hour battery in those, and that keeps it as small as you can keep it. You can obviously go up to a 6 amp battery if you don't mind the double layer, but that does start to get a little bit more bulky. And of course, if you're not too bothered, and if you want heated jacket all day, you can pop the 18 volt adapter in there, and anything up to a 12 amp hour battery is going to keep you running all week.
Right, yeah. You can also run the GAA 18 volt, but that's going to be even more bulky. Now, I would argue and say, do you know what? It'd be quite nice if any new heated jacket we come out with will have the ability to run off USB-C, because that might open you up to the opportunity of some
power banks.
Power banks, yes, exactly. So that gives you extra flexibility. We'll see. But at the moment, yes, to a degree, you are right. At least we give you a nice pocket to put the 12 volt GAA adapter in. But it could be worse. It could be even bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fainor is asking, how does the new circular saw benefit from a Procore battery when it's not labeled by turbo? Yeah, good question. I thought only by turbo machines benefited from the increased Procore 18V power output. If some non-bi turbo tools benefit while others don't, is that a bit confusing for customers trying to understand their range? Yep, I'll answer this one, because this is a pet peeve of mine, so to speak.
Yes.
Yes. In short, the Procore 18V battery does in fact benefit certain machines. In fact, you could argue it benefits all of our 18 volt machines, but depending on the application and type of tool, that benefit may be large or small. Okay? Think of it this way: if you've got a large or a high energy draw machine, if you are running a Procore 18 volt battery, that means that the peak performance can be maintained for longer. The battery is able to deal with high draw as opposed to the more traditional cool pack batteries. Yeah. So if you
usually use the analogy of a small car with a big engine being a standard system tool with a Procore battery, or a big car with a small engine. Obviously, having the massive amount of power there means you're not stressing the machine as much, and you'll get a more efficient machine usage to the best of its peak ability.
Now, a circular saw is what I would classify as a high draw tool. So that benefits from the Procore system. It means that your circular saw can maintain that top performance throughout. And you'll hear it and you'll feel it without a doubt compared to any other batteries. If you really want to feel it, you can put a 18 volt compact battery, like a 2 amp on it. You'll really notice the performance dip because that's, it's got less cells to try and draw current from. Okay. So the bi-turbo machines, the circular saws, as an example, will benefit from it. Another one off the top of my head that I think really benefits from it could be things like a jigsaw. The new GST 18V-55s. They really benefit.
125.
No, the 155, sorry.
Oh, 155.
The 155s, they really benefit from a bigger battery, especially when you're really going into certain thick materials.
Yes.
Hardwood, for example, with the maximum cutting depth, for example. That's how I would kind of pitch it. Is it confusing to the users? Yeah, I must admit a little bit, because we've always communicated going like, bi-turbo machines need a Procore battery. And that's true. They do only get the maximum amount of performance when they're running in conjunction with a Procore 18 volt battery. Specifically, again, just to confuse you again, 5.5 and above, not the 4.
Not the 4.
Okay, so again, we're having a little trouble with that. Make sure that's very clear, but to us, it's super clear.
Yeah. We could get into the weeds with that, but I think we covered that in our... Did we do a batteries and chargers live stream as well?
Yes, we did. We might have covered it in that.
Yeah.
So to answer your...
That's still relevant, that one. That was prior to the Procore 18 volt plus. but still the technology and the facts and figures and everything regarding that are all still relevant.
So, I mean, it's a really, Fino, that's a really good question. I think generally speaking, again, the point I would want to say there is some non-bi-turbo tools do benefit from a Procore 18V battery. However, you don't need those batteries to get that tool to perform to the specifications that we have specified. So the circular saw will cut, say for example, the new FSN X1, that will cut up to a maximum of 57 millimeters in wood fine on a normal battery. However, if you were to put a Procore 18V battery on it, you will notice that you can probably cut faster.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the best way of looking at it. The bi-turbo machines will really will only hit that specification if you are running a 5.5 or above Procore 18V battery. That's the best way of summing it up.
Yeah, I think just way more headroom.
That's right.
When it comes to energy.
Yeah, but in a nutshell, if you can replace, if get Procore 18-volt batteries. Yeah, it'll work with all your machines, and you'll have that extra power when you want it, and the ability to run bi-turbo machines without having to upgrade your batteries. Yeah, so exactly. Good question, like it. Tivoli Electronics, X-Lock concrete grinding disc.
Yes.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe not a dedicated concrete grinding disc, but maybe we'll have something that is more multi-material.
Multi-material, yes.
Including concrete.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know when that may not be hitting or launching. Again,
don't think it's long.
No, I think it's going to be very early next year. So as soon as that comes out, you'll be very keen to see that. PF Cutters is back. He loves the routers. Peach of a tool. Will you be making half-inch routers now? We've answered that one already. We are definitely developing one. I don't know when that's going to come out, but we would be foolish not to bring one out. From PF again. Bosch, how come you did not show us the new circular saws released, the GKS 1851 and the 18V44? Will you make 12-volt versions of this saw? And he likes the 12-volt versions nicely. Now, those two models I'm only vaguely familiar with because they have been launched. I think it's in the Asian market.
Yes, I checked on our in-house parts system. We have a DVD that I quite regularly use. Yes, it's a bit out of date now. However, it does have all of the released machines globally on there. So yes, these are Asian market machines. These ones weren't brought to the UK.
Whether or not they may eventually be available in the UK, I don't know. There's a possibility.
Sometimes when the suppliers, or global suppliers, all of a sudden just bring in an influx of them, obviously we have to cater for those in our service department, for instance. So then we tend to follow up those machines a lot more closely. Yeah,
the size suits the 12-volt versions nicely. Yeah, I think so. Now, whereas I don't know if we're going to bring those specific models to the UK. I have got an inkling that there will be a new compact 18-volt saw potentially coming out, something below the 57. And it might sit in nicely between the existing 12-volt and the current 18-volt circ saws, but running on an 18-volt battery. So that'd be nice. That'd be nice for a compact
laminate flooring or anything like that. Any hardwood flooring.
Yeah, which is probably going to be in line with the models that you mentioned here, that 51 and 44. Whether or not it actually is those machines, I can't tell you because I've not seen it yet. So that might be interesting for UPF. Okay, new question. I wish your line trimmer was bi-turbo. I want one, but I'm scared it won't be powerful enough compared to petrol. Any reason it can't be bi-turbo? It doesn't need to be. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not bi-turbo because it's not big enough, or there's an internal reason why some products are called bi-turbo and not. And that machine doesn't actually require enough the power to get that sticker essentially. You're worried it won't be powerful enough compared to petrol. Obviously, the petrol market and range is quite wide. We would argue that 18-volt trimmer, especially the brush cutter, the GKF, the GRF, sorry, that's got a lot of power for GFR. Thank you. That's got a lot of power compared to cordless, most cordless line trimmers out there, and I would argue it's pretty comparable to some petrol, I'd imagine.
Obviously, you're talking about top of the range petrol machines out there. Obviously, a considerable amount of expense goes into purchasing those. Then maybe not equal to that sort of level of machine. But again, the more money you pay, the more powerful the machine you're going to get.
Now, look, obviously we're in the market to try and sell as many of our bi-turbo brushless machines as possible, but don't worry, don't get too obsessed with the bi-turbo sticker. It's really important, obviously, but first, have a look at the specifications of the machine, okay? There are plenty, and trust me, like the new 18-volt router is not bi-turbo. That's got a lot of power. That could almost warrant being called a bi-turbo machine because the amount of power it can get.
It's very close to the threshold.
Exactly.
Actually.
So don't be worried about the current line, current trimmers not having that bi-turbo moniker. Have a look at what.
Pop a Procore on it,
Yes,
and then you're going to, as the previous question, you're still going to reap the benefits of plenty of headroom in power. Should you get into a particularly high draw situation.
That's right, yeah. So if you're worried about it not having enough power, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised how much power even that type of line trimmer has. If you want more performance, maybe consider going for the brush cutter. It's a combi, it's got both the line and it's got the blade, right? So that's useful in even more dense material, right? But also do bear in mind, when we talked about those professional 18-volt line trimmers coming out, we were very clear to say that these were essentially the entry-level machines, and we will be bringing out more powerful lawn and garden products, including the line trimmer.
Yes. 100%.
So we will hopefully be able to talk about some new machines in the coming year that may be more in line with what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. Do we have a machine that pulls old nails, a denailer? Does anyone produce a machine like that? I don't know if any of the main players do. I've not seen anything, so
No, seen me either.
I don't know how big a market is for a powered denailer. Feel free to let us know in the chat if that's something, if you didn't ask that question, that's something you're interested in. I'll tell you what's more important. I think it's more important that we bring out a hammer.
Or putting the nails in.
Oh, I was going to say, putting the nails in good, but first off, let's get a claw hammer first before we make a powered one, right? Okay, Bosch, key question. Do you still make power tool holders, battery holders, tool storage and organisation for tools on the walls in workshops and garages, like you did in the past? Very much needed.
Maybe this is a little bit before my time.
Yeah, we had things like, I don't know if you're going to go into wireless charging here.
That did have almost a holster that you would put the drill in, which would wirelessly charge the battery. But yeah, other than that, that's the only thing I can think of for racking system.
Yeah, I would expect if this new lbox concept is coming soon, there might be a possibility of some of those things coming. We are seeing a few new products where they double up as battery storage devices as well. They do more than that, of course, but there are a number of products coming out that might solve some of that, but we don't have anything in the roadmap that I've seen that is dedicated for workshop storage. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
But that, again, trust me, that doesn't mean it's not happening. It's just that we haven't been told about it yet. Before we go on to some more questions, and we are bearing in mind we don't want to we could spend a lot longer, but we might have to cut the live stream. We might have to stop the live stream at some point. We've got too many questions. But before we do that, obviously, Dharma, have we got some in the chat? We're not finished yet. We'll keep going for a little bit longer, of course. But Dharma, any more questions?
Yeah. Karam's asked, if you had to buy only one tool, which one would it be?
I'm going crazy. That's impossible. I mean, if only one tool, multi-tool.
Go for multi-tool.
By definition, I'm sitting there going, I could do a lot with a multi-tool. It would not necessarily be the most convenient, but if I was on a desert island, I don't know. Gosh, I don't know. That's a difficult question. Trust me, every day we look at our workshop and it's full. Yeah. And we can pick anything we want. One tool.
I'd still go for the GSR 12 V-35HX. One trick pony, I'm afraid, when it comes to that one machine. I absolutely love it. So, however,
you'll be really
in the next year, there is something that has already knocked that off the top spot.
Oh, good, okay.
So, yes.
So if Dan was stuck on a desert island, he would pick that tool so he could repair the tool. He could repair some imaginary tools with that tool.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
No accessory bits.
It's coming soon, and it's also a 12-volt machine that's coming soon as well.
No, that's a difficult question to answer.
That would be my favourite.
No, I failed miserably. I've struggled with that question. I cannot pick.
Multi-tool's a good one.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Speaking of multi-tool, I Iron Jensen has asked, when will a new multi-tool with Starlock Max be available?
That's a difficult one for me to answer because I had seen that it was going to be coming soon. There is one still coming. I'm glad I didn't give you a date because I would have been incorrect. It will be coming, but if I'm being perfectly honest, and that's what we're all about in this live stream, I think we won't see that till 26.
Yeah.
Beginning of 26.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. No, I say fingers crossed. I think the beginning of 2026 is when we're going to get that machine, which is a bit disappointing, I must admit. I was really looking forward to getting it next year.
Yes.
But sometimes we don't get everything we want, I'm afraid.
Yeah. It's bleak enough.
My life story. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah. So, Yevka is asking, are you planning to make a 12-volt or 18-volt induction heater for plumbers and HVAC technicians?
Oh, an induction heater would be nice.
Yes.
Not that I've seen. I can't imagine that's something we're currently looking into at the moment. But who knows? Sometimes we get blindsided by machines out of the blue that we didn't even see coming.
Yeah. There's two trade categories, or two types of, we always call it toolboxes, it's just how we work, tool bags. Two different types of trades that we are particularly focusing on at the moment, and trying to expand the products within those range. First thing is obviously electricians, and the other ones are plumbers and HVAC and those kinds of things. So
when you're talking about heavy industry, construction, or basically automotive, which that machine will shine in. It
exactly,
really would.
yes. Automotive is another one as well, that we're expanding into.
Yeah.
So as plumbers and HVAC is one of those main focus categories.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that all the products that you would want in your day-to-day in that trade will eventually, and hopefully shortly, be filled by a Bosch solution.
I'd like to see a 12-volt soldering iron, for instance. I think that would be really useful, but yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Champion thing from that we'll see what happens.
Good question, good product. We'll hopefully, fingers crossed, as what we'll say.
Yeah. One more question for now. I'm combining two questions actually, but are you still making a parallel 18-volt multi-bay charger and also have 12-volt versions of your multi-bay chargers come in? I would like to see a 3 multi-bay charger. The current is 6 multi-bay is too big for me.
3, eh? We've hinted there's a 2-bay.
Yep.
Fast charger. I think we can talk about it because it has been announced, but it unfortunately has been delayed from launch. Some of our German colleagues talked about it before, which is the 32 amp simultaneous fast charger.
Yep.
So essentially that's two of our fastest chargers, the 160, the GAL 18V160s stuck together, simultaneous.
Yep.
That's a great product. That is going to be coming to the market, but a little later than we wished. A 3-bay charger. No, not a 3-bay. We haven't got any. But we are looking at options on other multi-bay chargers out there.
Yes.
Fingers crossed that we will have what I think is more important, which is going to be an 18-volt and 12-volt charger.
Dual bay, yep.
That type of dual bay or hybrid charger, like we had with our GAX 18V-30. Yeah, we needed an update of that, so I'm hoping that will come soon. I feel like that's more important to have that as a standard charger for you to have. So you've got 12-volt and 18-volt charging,
and you can charge your phone. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's more important. A 3-bay charger, I doubt we'll see, but we should. But I think but a 2-bay charger will be nice. But if you're wanting a multi-bay 12-volt charger, let us know, because actually that's something that
we've been asked about.
Yeah, I've been asked about, and I wasn't sure about multi-bay 12, whether or not that's important. If you think it is, let us know, and then that will give me some information that I can take back to the engineers to say, hey, if we're making multi-bay 18-volt, can we do the same thing for 12?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
even if it's a standalone product. Yeah. Okay,
right. So Dharma's out of questions. So let's blitz through the last few questions that we got online. And then we could just round up the live stream, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
So next one we got is, I love Bosch power tools, but they're huge. Well, I disagree. Do we agree? No, I don't necessarily agree. Ironically, let's have a history lesson very quickly. Now, Dan, you've got a machine behind you.
Do you want other side?
On the shelf. Right. So in the past, we've had many tools, and we actually used to come out of quite a few much smaller tools. Thank you, Dan. Okay, here we go. Here is the GBH 18 VLI Compact.
Yes.
Now, this is one of the tools that we launched back when I was starting, maybe about 16, 17 years ago. And this was criticised for, ironically, being too small, and I quote, too light. So people didn't like it, and therefore badmouthed it on the proto-internet of the time. And we didn't sell many. And that was very unfortunate because I quite liked it. This was designed specifically for the overhead applications. It's so lightweight, and it had loads of power for all the kinds of applications that you would expect it to be able to do.
Funnily enough, that was replaced by a machine that was slightly bigger, but basically the same power.
That's right, yes. So we listened to you.
Appease the people out there who said it was too small.
All right, so sometimes you might argue it's whatever's trendy or is the current flavour. And when we first came out of light compact tools, people thought, oh, they're not professional enough, I don't trust it. Now people are going back that way again to wanting small, powerful, compact machines. And we have followed suit. So as an example, I would argue that our Generation 2 impact drivers, this is the GDR 18V-220. See, thank you. I would say, if you come to close up very quickly, you'll see that that is a very nice compact machine.
It's a really nice bit of kit, this.
Oops.
That's a battery.
Hold up. I'm going to lean over. Yeah, I was going to argue that this machine is super compact. If you put that next to another machine that we've got in the range, another GDR, you'll see that this is very, very compact.
Considerably compact,
Exactly. So I would argue, I'm going to pop that back.
Actually, we've got an 18-volt GDS coming soon, which has only 156 millimetre length.
That's right,
to the head of it. So and that's got a massive amount of. I can't go into the specs too much because obviously it's not released yet. But lovely bit of kit.
Yeah, another machine that if I was, again, this is very close to one machine. If I was to pick my favourite, this isn't my desert island machine, but it's a very, very, very popular machine for myself, and I think it should be for others, will be our new 18-volt hammers. Okay, we've got the GBH 18V-22. Okay, that is a really compact machine with and without the onboard GDE dust extraction system. However, I can't tell you exactly the details, but we are bringing out rotary hammers that are even smaller than that machine. All right, so you'll see, obviously, fair enough, your opinion of our machines are too big. I think some of the machines have been larger than competitors, fine. With things like this new Generation 2 impact driver, with some of our machines that are still coming out, you'll find that actually I don't think that is the case anymore. Might have been something a few years ago, fair enough. But I really do honestly feel that a lot of our machines, where it's relevant, are now nice and small and compact as well.
Yeah, no, like you said, there's a few machines coming now that will surely change your mind. Yeah, you'll feel differently about the large machines.
Cool. Right. I was going to say, that doesn't even just apply to the machines. You know, even think about the batteries. For many years, we've also felt like we've always had, for power to weight ratio and size, we've always had the smallest, most powerful batteries from the core pack. And even when you move up to the 21700, the Procore 18V batteries, I'm still under the belief that for amp power, our batteries have always been the smaller and lightest. And I feel like that's the most important thing.
Well, what we've done is we've eliminated as much air from inside of them as possible. So they are literally just condensed bodies of technology.
Yeah,
really.
But no
wasted space in there.
Yeah, of course. But trust me, I'm sure there are some tools out there where the competitors make a smaller machine. Let us know which machines you think are too big, and we'll feed that information back. There's probably are a few, but I think where it really matters, like the drivers and the combis, I think we make some pretty nice compact machines. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. What product launch are you most looking forward to in 2025? Perhaps something coming out very soon that we can tease. There are a lot of tools coming out in January alone, but we're not allowed to tell you, I'm afraid.
No. I already mentioned there's a 12-volt machine that's it's going to be very. I think it's going to hit the ground running really well when it comes to automotive. Yeah. Well, other than that, I think I've said too much.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna timestamp this, and by saying, just wait until you see the new range of measuring tools coming out. That entire category are the ones I'm really looking forward to. They look really good. It's so good that they're added to the range. This comment I'm making now will make a lot more sense when you actually see them launched. But that is going to be my product. They're going to be my products of the year.
You know, when sometimes we'll get a machine. I think the 12-volt grinder or the cutter, when that appears in the box and you take one look at it and you think this is something different. This is something that's broken the mold. It doesn't have the same design cues as what we've had before. It looks like a fresh new product. These are very similar to that.
That's right, yeah. So you don't have to wait too long because look, we're already here in November. It's only a month or so left before we can start teasing some of this stuff. Yeah, next year is going to be a great year. So I can't tell you too much, but just you wait. Just
bear with us.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, what emerging power tool features and technology are you excited to see developed in the future? Safety features, precision, less weight, for example. I'll be honest with you, I made an opinion on this one. I don't know if you share this one. I'm very fond of my measuring tools. You might have seen some videos on the wall detectors, for example. I am very, very keen to see a new software update coming to some of our flagship detectors.
Yeah.
Let's say
a free
update, of course.
Update, yes.
Now, I think I can get away with it. I don't think I'm going to upset anyone by saying, trust me, there's going to be we can't use the word AI. I think AI is overused, but there's going to be a really great software update coming to one of our detectors that is going to make your life a lot easier and make the tool perform almost like a completely new tool.
Yes.
Right. And more importantly, which makes me really happy to say, it's as Danny said, free of charge upgrade to that machine. And that's what makes me feel happy working at Bosch, that we're willing to we're not going to bring out a new machine, we're going to make that machine work even better without charging. And that makes me feel really happy. Yeah. There are loads of other technologies, but that's for another time.
Yes.
But yeah, lots of really great things to look forward to. Okay, last few questions. Advice on press jaws. How to achieve a properly pressed joint. What are the consequences if I use the wrong profile jaw set to press a joint? How do I identify which profile jaws are needed for which fitting? Now, that's quite a complex question.
It is, yes.
Now, let's go through it logically. How to achieve a properly pressed joint. There's a couple of pro tips. Let's grab a machine here.
Yep, you got that one.
Okay. Now, the best practice, and I'm sure you guys know this already, but this is something I was taught because I'm not a plumber or HVAC guy. But in our training, we're always told that, when you do the press fit, obviously you need to make sure that this has been well cleaned. You don't want any burrs on the inside, otherwise you might damage the O-rings inside the fittings.
Or inside or the outside.
Is that right? Okay, once you've done your fitting, it's always good to mark.
You push it all the way home.
Yeah, push it all the way home and then mark it with a pen to make sure that if you are doing the press application, that doesn't accidentally move. You can, if it does move, then you know there's been a problem when you've done it. If I'm being honest with you, the fitment into the jaws, you can only do it the correct way.
Yep.
If you do it the wrong way, you're going to know about it. What are the consequences if I use the wrong profile jaw set?
If it's a gas pipe, you're going to leak gas. If it's a water pipe, you're going to leak water.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed, but you don't want to run that risk. You should be using the appropriate jaws for the fittings. Now, these ones, for example, you can see on the jaws. I'll point it to whichever cam can see it, but it's either one. You can have like the M15 here. See. There you go, I'll tilt it forward. So those are designed for the M profile, which is actually what I've got here, the M profile, and obviously the size is 15. Now when you're purchasing...
That's the pipe size.
The pipe size, that's right, yeah. So that fits in exactly how it should. Now my recommendation is that well, not recommendation, you should use the correct jaws for the fittings you're doing. This might mean you might need to have multiple jaws, but if you are in this trade, you fully understand, are aware of that. Now, we've got two different types of jaws. If I just pick up the other machine, the 32 model, as opposed to the 19 model, they have two different kinds of jaws, so it's important to buy the correct jaws for the machine. Tim, I don't know whether or not you've got the chart that you can pop up on screen. Okay, here's an example of the compatibility chart for the GPT 18V-19. You can see there's a lot of different types of pipe sets out there. You can see there's lots of different sizes as well for the different types of jaws. Now in the UK, my understanding is we typically use the M mostly, but also SV as well. And you can see different sizes are compatible. On that chart, that's only showing the 19. We've also got one for the 32. If you pop onto our website, it's quite, hopefully it's quite easy to find the different charts. And you can pick the relevant heads. It's got a part number at the top there, so you can pick the relevant heads for the fittings you're looking for, and on the model as well. Important to note that if we don't do the sizes, if we don't go any bigger than the 32 sizes, then pop over to Rothenberger, and they will have a wider range of jaw sizes.
Yeah.
So they'll go above the 32 that we make.
Yes.
So there's a lot of flexibility on that. What's the last bit of that question? Yes, I think that's a fair point. We could do a demonstration, but if you want to see us demo that, you can just look at the previous live stream where we talked about the new tools. That's about it, really. As long as you choose the correct jaw profile to match the union and just the fitting, that's all you need to do. Correct size, correct shape.
Exactly.
If you use the wrong jaws, you might get an inaccurate or inefficient, or no.
It's the potential. You've got the potential of distorting the actual pipe that's inside, as well as the fitting. And of course, if you do make an incorrect fitting, that means cutting the pipe and reapplying a new union. And you don't want to do that too many times because they're quite pricey.
I'm being too wordy. If you use the wrong, if you do it wrong, you might fail. Yeah, as simple as, and you don't want it to fail. No.
Exactly.
So
there's no straightening out and reusing these fittings. They have to be thrown away, discarded, and a new one used.
Okay, nice. Well, okay, that's it in a nutshell. We could, I think we will spend some more time talking about some of the press machines. Maybe if that's something that you want to have more information on, maybe perhaps we could get someone from Rothenberger to come and join us. That'd be great.
Maybe a hydraulics live stream might be on the cards as well.
There we go. New year, we will look at hydraulics because there's quite a few that we've got in the range and coming to the range. Last few questions. Do we have
the last few questions for the last quarter of an hour? So I'm wondering how many more questions.
I know. But okay, so we're going to need the super close-up camera for a second, because the next question I've got here is: do you have any tips/advice using the Hex 9 hard ceramic bits to extend the life of the bits?
Yes.
Now, all right. So here we go. Here's an example of a Hex 9 drill bit. Now, these are designed for hard ceramics. Yeah. Even better, they'll last forever in a soft ceramic, but these are designed for your really hard porcelain tiles, for example.
Yeah. You can see on the top of there, you've got a solid carbide tooth, and it's asymmetrical as well. So that's not a misbuild. They are designed to look like that. So it's got a centering point. However, the blades are offset either side at separate angles. And that comes into play when you're talking about the correct use of this particular drill bit.
Right, yes, because that's a good question, because we see a lot of people that use these like a normal drill bit, say a multi-construction drill bit. Yeah. And that is not necessarily, I don't want to say you're wrong, but I would say that's not necessarily the best way to use it for longevity.
You're not going to get the best out of that drill bit, or the life expectancy out of that drill bit.
Now, first
again, you want to keep the drill bit cool. At the end of the day, that's how you're going to get the longest runtime out of that particular bit.
Because as Dan's pointed out, there is a cutting edge. Okay. Now, the tips are when using this kind of bit is you want to stay quite slow RPM. So leave it in first gear and use the variable trigger to have a nice slow RPM as you start to cut with that tip through the glaze.
You'll hear it cut through the glaze.
Yes, you want to hear that sound. Once you progress the tip through, my suggestion is, or the recommendation way, is to angle the
these how they've been designed.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Because what you can see is there's a cutting edge, and you want to try and engage that. As you're going through the tile, you want to engage that cutting edge. So what ends up happening is you end up with that kind of motion as you're drilling in, because you're always going to be engaging this cutting edge on the side. So a small circular motion, don't have to be too big. You're doing a lot of it by feel. The bigger the bit, the more angle you're going to need to keep that cutting edge engaged. Yeah. Right?
You want to remember when you're not, the cutting edge isn't engaged, as you move it away, that's allowing the bit to cool down slightly, and that prevents the premature wear.
Correctly. So, as I said, once you've got in a little bit more, that angle, or even less angle, just a little bit of this motion to maintain the cutting edge. Keep cool, as Dan points out. You want to keep the RPM quite low until the entire cutting head has got through and cut through the glaze. Yeah. Once you've got through the top glaze, then you can start to increase the RPM. But you don't want to have it full blast speed 2. You want to probably stay in that speed 1. Constantly doing that, you'll actually hear when it's cutting.
Yeah, right? You'll hear when it goes through as well. The tone changes as it actually passes through the back of the tile as well.
That's right, yeah. Don't use hammer function if you're using
No,
a combi.
don't.
And more important, and equally importantly, don't apply excessive pressure to the bit. You don't need to. You just need to make sure that that is in contact, the cutting edge is in contact as you're drilling.
Yeah.
Okay, if you, unfortunately, as good as these bits are, right, and how, even though they've got excellent robustness and longevity, if they are used incorrectly, then yeah, they can burn out. They won't burn out as quickly as, say, a multi-construction bit set. A multi-construction bit. They will last a lot longer compared to the Sil 9s ones that we've got here, which are the soft tile bits.
Yep.
But you won't be getting the most you can out of a hex 9, right? If you use them correctly, they'll last a long time. We get at least 10 holes in the hardest ceramic.
We're talking about top spec hard ceramic there. Yeah.
If you want to add even more longevity, water does help, because it's actually the heat that damages the bits. And another thing that I've seen a lot of people do, again, is once they have drilled through the tile, often they just leave it in to do the hole for the raw plug into the bricks. Yeah. And that's just causing excess wear, because you're using that, again, just like a normal drill bit.
Yeah, you're running that then in a really abrasive brick dust.
So my recommendation is, if you're using the hex 9 drill bits, do all the things we said there. Slow RPM. Keep it on. Keep the cutting edge keen and applying a slight rotation to it. Okay. I'm losing my train of thought there. Once you've finished drilling, then I thoroughly recommend you take this out, swap it out for, say, for example, a multi-construction bit to do the final drill into the brickwork behind, and then that's the way you'll keep that keen. You know, because these are more expensive bits, but when it comes to cutting into hard ceramics, other than diamond, you're not going to get anything else like that. And when it comes to some applications, sometimes you might recommend using a grinder and diamond. But for this, honestly, if you use these correctly, these are amazing. They'll last such a long time.
If you only take away from this live stream the fact that you rotate the drill, then you're already onto a winner.
Exactly. Those two things, absolutely. And that's what people get wrong. They're too fast, and they don't apply an angle. If you do those two things,
you're good to go.
Good to go. Right. Okay. God, I'm going to go down a complete tangent there. But that's one of the things that we get a lot of people asking. Oh, these are not meeting my expectations, and it's so unfortunate because they're really good tools. I think there might be some video content out there showing how to use it. If there isn't, Dan and I will do one ourselves. And because I think that's the most important thing, because these will really shine if you use them correctly. Okay. Last few questions. Or shall I say, what do you think, guys? Last question? Yeah. Last question is from Genuine Jojo.
Okay.
Why do I feel the bald guy is bullying the guy in glasses?
Not physically, however, emotionally, yes.
You'll find that's probably the case, because someone has to, let's be honest. What do you think about that, Dan? I've been identified as a bald guy. I think I'm accurate. I guess that's true.
I imagine you're the bald guy.
I thought it was the other way around. Really. I don't think that's necessarily accurate.
You would, being the bully.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
well, let's just say it's a dynamic that we have fostered over many years.
Yes.
Maybe this is a brand. Maybe we're nothing like this in real life. The only way you're going to find out whether or not I'm really a bully and whether I really bully Dan is you're going to have to make yourself over to an event and meet us in person and find out who's the real bully. Why do you feel it? Maybe it's deliberate. Maybe it's deliberate. Maybe he deserves it. How about that?
Maybe if he let me get a word in edgeways now and again, it wouldn't come across the same way.
That's right. I think I just like the sound of my own voice, and it comes
I know
off as
you
bullying.
like the sound of your own voice.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be able to do a live stream if we weren't nerds and like talking. So that's the last question that we got from the online platforms. Let's just double check whether or not Dharma may or may not have any last questions, because I've seen the chat and it looks like it's been going gangbusters. I don't know if that's because everyone's talking amongst themselves or whether or not there's loads of questions. We've got a little bit of time, Dharma. Let's see if we can just round off with a few from the chat.
Yeah. So firstly, are there any updates planned for the Bosch GLL380CG in 2025?
Updates to the 380? Well, I mean,
there's the 18.
That technically would replace the 380 to a degree.
Yep.
Remember, this is the GLL 8033, so this is your 80 model.
Yeah.
I would argue that the 18 volt 3-line laser, let me get this one right, the GLL 18V-120-33CG,
One of them.
One of those.
Yep.
I have 99% there. That one is also a 360 laser that kind of replaces, could replace the GLL 3-80 C, or not C, or CG.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
That's the one that's going to replace it.
That is the one that is replacing. It's out now already. So if you're in the market for a new crossline laser or 360 laser or plane laser, then have a look at this model.
And of course, you can take advantage of that lithium-ion rechargeable pack as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and a completely upgraded UI on the top here, which is really. Instead of toggling through the lasers,
you can switch them on independently.
Yeah, really love that. Really great feature. Although it's not connected, I don't know whether or not, if that's not something that you need, then this might be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Another question is, would like to see pick and click type inserts for L boxes for large sets of drills and bits. The small pick and click cases are okay, but I prefer to put all my stuff in one L box.
Yeah, pick and click. So like the screwdriver bits, for example, they've got a nice pick and click system. Yeah, that would be nice. It does feel like that would sit really well with us. We like to be extra precise. Everything is in its place. Very Germanic.
Yes.
I would like that as well.
We do have one of the L-box system drawers in the workshop that has lots of different sets in there. But I don't know whether that's actually as a how they've been shipped to us, or whether that's actually a solution. I'll have to look into that.
But at the moment, we don't currently have a pick and click system for the L-box. Yeah. So, hey, maybe. Again, we haven't seen anything in detail when it comes to the new generation of L-box solutions, this contractor system. Maybe some of that might be factoring into it. So, fingers crossed, yeah.
Never know.
Yeah, a few more questions from PF cutters mainly. Will these electrician tools include a cordless 18-volt armor cable strip cable cutters or punch-out tool?
Someone might know. Maybe.
Maybe
you might know information somehow. Maybe it's leaked onto some of the Bosch forums. But yes, when we mention things about hydraulics, maybe those will include those tools. We are bringing out a number of electrician tools, specialist tools as well, obviously. So if that's a type of tool that you think is important to the electrician trade, we will be bringing out something to match it.
I think you said too much.
Yeah. I think PF Cutters is too much. Okay. Any last final questions?
I mean, it's not a question,
Statements,
but
yes.
we put polls throughout this live stream, and we
Hang on, I've noticed a lot of giggling from behind the cameras, so I'm wondering what these polls are.
There it is. It's a relatively mundane question. They didn't go too controversial with that one.
Okay.
That's resounding, isn't it? So 90% would like us to do more Q&A live streams.
Lovely. Yeah.
That's great to know. I mean, often when we do the live streams, we expect you guys to want us to every time tell you about new products. To those who aren't aware, we obviously do a launch window, and it's every 4 months. So outside of that 4th month, we won't be bringing out new products because it's not really how we do things. So once we've done our new tools, new T live stream, we feel a bit bad because we can't tell you about new products because we won't be able to until the 4 months later. So we always expect people to really only want to watch the new T's or new product live streams. We've been proven wrong with a lot of our live streams throughout the years. People are very keen to log on and have look at our presentations on different live streams. But it does look like that even just a Q&A live stream seems to work quite well. And I'm really happy to do that because we don't know what you want to know.
There's plenty of questions out there, obviously, that we can answer. If
you guys are asking, if you guys have regular questions that aren't being covered by the regular live streams, and you're willing to log in and talk to Danny and I for nearly 2 hours,
has it really been that long?
Just about.
Pass.
If that works, then maybe what we'll do is we'll schedule a regular Q&A. Again, if you want it, put it in the chat. Put it in the comments after this video has become a normal video, and then we can take that to all the relevant people and say, look, there's demand for this type of Q&A, pure Q&A live stream, and then we'll make it happen. I think we're going to make it happen regardless, but support us, let everyone know, give us the ammunition to put this through to our management and say, this is something that you guys want, and then we can do regularly.
Yes, that'd be nice.
Okay.
Mainly because I get to sit down.
This has been very... this has been a lot easier. Yeah, better on my heels for sure. Last few questions I can see here. One from Dave's Workshop. See, I don't even need you, Dharma. Any plans for a UK version router table? I would like to have one. Let's get our routers. Let's get our range of routers back up to speed first, and then we can start looking at the table routers.
Historically, we would always, when I was working in second level, answering people's questions there. With router tables, we would always point them in the direction of trend, obviously because I do very good router tables. And they would provide a blank adapter where you could fit the bases that we do and have your router as part of a router table. But it makes sense for us to have a router table at some point, doesn't it? It would be really nice.
We better go back to Dharma for some more questions. I'm looking here by saying the questions are still coming, but at some point we're going to have to draw the line. So Dharma, what have we got?
No, I was going to say that we also put another poll up asking what people wanted to see in 2025, whether it be 12 volt versus 18 volt range, and 70% of people said they wanted to see more 12 volt.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I'm just going to disagree with you.
Surprising in regards to everyone seems to generally buy 18 volt, but maybe it's different for Bosch users. Maybe the 12 volt range, as we say, it's a solid 12 volt range. You just want more of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll pass that up the line then. But don't worry, I mean, that's not different to what we've kind of been hinting at, that, you know, the 12 volt range is not going anywhere, and he's going to get an injection of new products because there are loads of tools that just do not need to 18 volt. Yeah. Okay. So, any last questions from here? It's a swagger machine. Cordless 12 volt
Swagger. That's for.
I didn't see the only 1G.
Yeah, it's for something like a knockout tool which sways you. I spoke to you about this.
Yeah.
Strength and material.
I stopped listening to you, clearly.
Yes, obviously.
When I nerd out,
I would love one of those, yes.
Copper bending machine, copper flanging machine. Yep, cool. So these are all HVAC machines that, again, in order for us to be respected as a provider, respecting that trade, bring out a range of products, I'm sure many of those need to be added to the range too. So, again, too early for us to tell you any more information on that range, but I'm sure in the coming, I guess I have to say coming years, that range is going to get wider and wider. Okay, well, 2 minutes to 7. Not bad. I think, what do you reckon, guys? Have we rounded up? We've done? Everyone else is looking well and truly overwhelmed by the amount of content. I've seen the chat going. It's been really good. If you've got any more questions that you'd like to leave, maybe for a future Q&A live stream, feel free to leave those questions in the comment section after this live stream ends, and we'll add it to the next list.
Yeah, we can use it to compile a list for the next one.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so nearly 2 hours later, thank you for the team for all their hard work. Thank you again in the chat for all these excellent questions. Again, thank you to all those who provided questions on our social platforms prior to this live stream. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I'd like to acknowledge that Ella is here, and thank you to Ella as well.
She's still here. That's right.
Hi, guys.
There we go.
See?
In case you missed her. Okay, so thanks all. Thank you for me.
And thank you for me.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.